dad used to say, the most terrifying sound you could ever hear in a factory is silence.
Yeah.
The silence, nothing's happening, and that's bad. The world of automotive manufacturing and Tier 1, Tier 2, and 3 stamping was evolving and changing. We got caught in a box of working with a customer base that we were comfortable with, they were comfortable with us, and people were coming online doing the same stuff that we were doing with no legacy costs,
Yeah.
with new technology, with better presses, far cheaper. So you had to constantly look for ways to save money. Integrating new work, picking up efficiencies, working with them, manpower, that was always the hard part for me. It was a challenge, and I tried to make fun with it, but it wasn't, because a big part of the job was in making efficiencies, you had to take people out of the process.
Yeah.
And that was
Streamlining.
you had to streamline. And a lot of times you had to do that because the work we took only came with a certain amount of money attached to each part. Do you remember me talking to people in an unofficial meeting saying, guys, we need to do this. I don't want you to fight it. This is our future. I can tell you that I don't believe anyone's going to be laid off because of this. On the contrary, I think this is going to lead to more employment. And furthermore, I know you guys, you're a lot smarter than you're giving yourself credit for. I know you just want to sling steel, go home and have a beer, but if you use your brain a little bit and you pick up a teach pennant, you might find.
And people adopted.
Yes, they did.
They adapted to the new jobs. They adapted to the automation.
They took it.
Yep.
I was very proud of everyone that took
became
part in that.
automation operators.
They all stepped up. You guys would pull out what you would call your fairy dust, and you would sprinkle it on the tool. And I don't know how you did it. It involved air pins sometimes, playing with the nitrodine cylinders, maybe tape, duct tape. You never liked my idea of using silicone, but I get it. It was a joke. But you play with the binders, you play with the tonnage. My God, the upper body I got from toggling those toggle presses. Jeez. Do you remember the Enclave part? That front end part came in, and it was all dual phase steel. They didn't know how to do dual phase steel.
We did.
No, we didn't, but we learned really quickly. It was amazing. You guys had buckets of fairy dust, and yet we made it happen. I mean, that was just such a point of pride for me that I got to be around that type of innovation, and it all came from making cars, having to make things work. We had a good deal of cash in the bank, as I recall. We were ready to weather a hit, but the fact of the matter was, our main customer was in bankruptcy.
Yeah.
And insolvency, really, and there was no way out for them other than the way that it seems that it went. So the world shut down. The world shut down, and
Credit was frozen. People weren't buying
everything was frozen, and we immediately had to go into survival mode.
Yeah.
And in doing that, we knew that, first of all, what we needed to do is get all non-critical personnel out of the press room, which was painful, but if you're not stamping parts, you don't need production. You still need maintenance, you still may need one or two shipping, but everyone else had to temporarily go, and that's the way it went. It was, in a lot of ways, it was a job shop. And when I was plant manager, that's what you did. You were constantly balancing manpower, and that was the fun part. That was the hard part, because people were going on unemployment. It was not fun, but it was a necessary job. Not even an evil, necessary job. But we had to start picking up efficiencies. We laid off people in the office. All of a sudden, we became more efficient than we ever thought we could have been. And it's kind of sad that it took a crisis of that magnitude to realize how much that we could all do with less. In the end, we did do all of it with a skeleton crew. And quite frankly, to me, I was doing 4 jobs. GM wanted us to make it too. They knew we had a cash hoard, and because we were very conservative with cash. as you saw with how the place looked. I mean, the Toyota wanted us to build a whole new press room, and we're like, why? We still make parts better than you. It's just that we can't eat our lunch off the press room floor.
And
Excuse
we did.
us. We needed to evolve, and it was a horrible, horrible acknowledgement that we needed to do it cheaper. We needed to do it cheaper, and we needed to do it better than everyone else. And it didn't work out, Jim, and it really broke my heart because you were there when my father made that one last emotional speech. And it's just a crap reality of creative destruction, of evolution of business. For buy-off on Monday and parts in the truck.